Hi, this is Tyler Kemp with LATICRETE Technical Services, here with a technical tip for you. Today we're going to be talking about an ER1 or ER2 error code on our non-LCD StrataHeat thermostat. Let's get into it. And as you can see, I'm getting that ER message on the screen again. So that's an error indicating that my sensor probes for the floor are either not plugged in or not plugged in properly. This can also indicate that the settings in the thermostat are incorrect because I may have a probe hooked up properly, but I may not have the correct settings put in. So what we're going to do is we're going to unlock the screen by hitting the check mark, and then we're going to go ahead and open the menu by again hitting the check mark. Once we see that calendar with that little hand, we'll know that we are in the menu screen. We're going to use our up and down arrows to navigate to the settings gear. Once we see that settings gear, we're going to go ahead and click that check mark to select it, and we are in the settings menu. We're going to go ahead and navigate through until we see what looks like a little thermometer. This is how we're going to change our settings for what we're reading. Now, the very first screen that I get to, this is going to be my probes, okay? My P1 and my P2 probes. And we're going to take a look at those at the back of the thermostat right now. Looking at the back of the StrataHeat thermostat, you'll notice there are three little terminals here on the side. And if you look really closely here, you'll see that each one of them are labeled, either for control or limit. And then of course you've also got this center terminal here. So the center terminal here is actually the common power. And so that terminal will always need to be connected with one of the leads of the probes, the other lead in either the P1 control or P2 limit. When I do not have these connected correctly, I may receive one of those ER codes, whether it's an ER1 or ER2, depending on the settings that I have set in the thermostat and which probe I'm trying to read my temperature from. Let's take a look at the settings and see exactly what that would look like. So in order to fix that, I'm going to go back into my settings here. You can see I can navigate through all kinds of options. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that my probes are swapped around properly. So now I've got my thermometer in 1 on the left, my shield and my 2 on the right. So in other words, I'm reading control and limit this way rather than when they're swapped. Again, I'm going to keep this at 0.2 because I'm trying to read from my probes and not from the air or any other remote sensors. And keep my degrees at Fahrenheit. And now you can see I'm reading off of the sensor 1. 10,000 ohm sensor wire. I'm going to select that and I get my green check mark. Back into that settings screen, I can back out using my X to the main screen, and you can see my error code is now gone. I am now specifically reading from the P1 terminal as we discussed earlier. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any other questions about our StrataHeat thermostats, please contact our technical services department.